Welcome back to Building and Breaking, where we talk about how brands are built, trust is broken, and what salon owners, hairstylists, and pro beauty brands can learn. I'm your host, Nina Kovner, and it's been a minute. And I have been, eh, eh, I know that the last episode that I did, I said, you know what? We're going to do this in series, right? In like six at a time, four at a time, five at a time, and then take a break and come back. And I promise you that was my intention. I am making no excuses here, but the last few months have just life showed up in a lot of crazy ways. And so I got distracted and I only want to create quality content for you. Thus, here we are. I said, I'm going to do an episode before the end of the year because we have some great episodes coming up in 2026. So I wanted to use this opportunity to first and foremost, thank you so much for listening to the podcast this year. You know, when I first kind of like envisioned building and breaking, I shared in the first few episodes that these are the conversations I have with myself. These are the conversations that I have in my head. Once a brand strategist, always a brand strategist. And I love this shit. And all the notes that I've taken over the years and all the brands that I've studied, to be able to share that with you and to be able to see how these episodes have helped you, have empowered you, have helped shift your perspective, helped you make more aligned decisions for your own brand and how you lead and how you show up for your clients and your customers. It is truly an honor. So thank you so much for that. I am so grateful. So this particular episode, I was going to record a few months ago, and like I said, that didn't happen. But I felt it was a good way to close out the year. This week, we are talking about a brand I call the internet. Now, I have a very interesting relationship with the internet. I built an entire business around the internet net in the social and digital revolution. Uh, and this is in no way hating on the internet, but what has been happening over the last decade and what will be coming in the future, I think it's really important to talk about the internet as a brand. So I am not attacking. I am not attacking social. I love social. I am not attacking technology. I love technology. This episode is about stepping back and looking at the internet through a brand lens and really looking at what happens when trust erodes. So, the internet made a lot of promises to us, right? It was about connection. It was about community. It was about creativity. It was about access. It was about opportunity. And again, I built a whole business around this. I saw how empowering the social and digital web was going to be for small businesses. And it was, as I've shared many times before, a lonely start. Because back in 2012, anytime that I talked about the power of social or the power of digital, I got pushback and I got, oh, Facebook's a fad and Yelp is stupid and blah, 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 blah. Right. But, it turns out the internet actually is pretty cool. And as is social media and all the promises that were made. This was a way to build relationships in an entirely new way. And the promise was clear and the trust was built, and it was built for a long time, you know? And trust is built when brand promises are kept, when they're clear, when they're consistent, when they're kept. So, this particular shift I've been talking about for over a decade when I started seeing more misinformation and disinformation and the harmless kind, like those fucking annoying Facebook hoaxes, to the more damaging kind, like stuff that influences uh, elections, right? So, this shift has been happening for a long time. And one of the things that has really come up for me in the place that I sit in the industry, working with salon owners of all different business models, working with hairstylists, working with small business owners, with creatives, working with some brands. What I see time and time again is this loss of perspective because everything's changed. And this was, in the beginning, it was about people, right? And now it's about performance, you know? It was about community, and now it's a content machine, right? It was about creativity, and now it's, everything being driven by the algorithm. And what happens when we are so close to something, now this is true in business, this is true in life, across the board. Really important lesson for leaders. When we get too close to something, we can't see it anymore, right? And that's what's happened with social in particular. We have gotten so close that we have lost perspective, and we, generally speaking, cannot even see what is happening, how it is shaping our behavior, how it is creating chaos, how it is distorting facts. And this could be in the salon industry or in the world in general, because it's become, again, this algorithmic chaos that is purely optimized for attention. And there's a lot of ways to get attention, right? And what we've seen on the rise a lot, I would say probably in the last 6 or 7 years, kind of started with the misinformation and disinformation. And then this rage baiting, this clickbait, this unpopular opinions, this nobody ever talks about, all those supposed hooks that were taught by God knows who, some social media expert, I'm sure. That has only increased our blood pressure. That has only increased our confusion, increased the chaos. Did I say blood pressure? Yeah. And so that's where the cracks start to come in, right? That's where we're like, shit, this is fucking crazy. I didn't sign up for this, you know? And it's such a difficult it's such a difficult path to walk because on the one side, the community that has been built on these platforms, I will never not be grateful, and I will never underestimate or minimize their power. That power exists. Again, I've been doing this for almost 15 years. I've built programs on social. I've built communities. I have met the coolest fucking people. So it's not about that, but the cost. What it's costing us is something that really needs to be paid attention to, and that's why I've been talking about the importance of consistent social breaks over the last decade, because I see this loss of perspective and this impact firsthand. I see it every single day. You know, from a mental health and wellness perspective, and then also to just a loss of perspective on where social sits in terms of marketing, right? Where social sits in terms of marketing a local business. So, I mean, the cost has been high, right? This nonstop comparison, this emotional whiplash, this rage bait disguised as like I'm educating you. It's just too much. It's just too much. And so, I talked a few years ago. I do a trends and outlooks. I've been doing a trends and outlooks workshop for our A school members for many years in many different iterations. And I have one coming up in January 12th, 2026, Trends and Outlooks. But, I talked a few years ago. I don't remember what I called it. The great overcorrection, I think was what I called it, which is what happened like post 2022 going into 2023, and how the salon industry, generally speaking, overcorrected and overcorrected in so many different ways, from having no agreements to having agreements that are so difficult to do business with you that they lost clients, right? From no consistent price increases to overpricing and not aligned with your market position, to scheduling, lack of availability, from being too available. It's all going from no boundaries to walls as opposed to healthy boundaries. It's a whole nother episode. Anywho, Um, I do see a correction coming. I do see a correction coming, and I am going to talk about this obviously at length in the 2026 Trends and Outlooks conversation, but there is no doubt that we are craving calm. We are craving quiet. We are craving real connection as opposed to performative connection. And this can be seen in it. There's so many signals of this, but even the platforms themselves, I know that Instagram has said, a lot of the action is going on in the DMs, sharing content in the DM, these broadcast channels, the DMs, like there's a lot happening and people are just, connecting and engaging differently. And again, I'm just speaking generally, but it really fits back into a couple of the macro trends I've been talking about for a few years, and that's nostalgia and craving a more analog life. We see this with Gen Z quite a bit. Um, and so I kind of see it all coming together, which actually gets me really excited because I love social. Again, I love social. I love the internet, but it fucked us. It fucked us in so many ways, as businesses and also the impact, it's the not great impact it's having on the world. Again, generally speaking. So I really see that we are going to reassess and realign our relationship with the internet based on what we know today that maybe we didn't know. And of course, a big driver of this also is all of the confusion around AI generated content. I have said since day one, AI is not as awesome or as awful as people say it is. Um, like many of the social platforms, it's proving to be the leadership, proving to be more awful than awesome. And again, back to trust, right? If we can't trust these leaders to take responsibility for their businesses and platforms, well then, we're in trouble. And AI is a big part of that right now. Content, AI content, I'm talking about AI generated content where most people cannot see the difference. I deal with this again almost every day. Someone's sending me a piece of content that is fantastic that they think is real and it's not. So if it's a cute little dog, that's not a big deal. But that's not where this is going, right? This isn't about cute AI generated dog videos. This is about again, misinformation, disinformation, and confusion. We are tired as a people. We are tired as a people. And, just like most things, most larger trends and trajectories, things come back around. And I really anticipate 2026 to be when things come back around. And what I mean by that is discernment. Discernment is a word that I rarely use. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who I'm very close with, and someone was saying to them, "You're just really difficult, or you're always negative, or whatever." And I said, and I'm honest with my friends. We all have really good self awareness, for the most part, And I said, you know what? That's not the word. That's not the right word. And there's a word I can't think of right now. I literally said this. This was not that long ago. But I know the word. I can't, it's not coming to me right now. But the minute it does, I'm gonna share the word with you. So, like whenever that happens, you're like, what's that word? Or what was. So it was only a couple hours later, and I'm like, discerning. I said, you're discerning. And that is sometimes off-putting to people because discerning to me or discernment really does kind of connect back to healthy boundaries where people that have no boundaries, they don't like healthy boundaries, right? Because it feels awkward, it feels uncomfortable, it feels weird to them. Well, discernment's the same type of thing where we are more educated, we are more aware, and we are going to make choices that are more aligned with both our brands and our lives. And social media absolutely will play a role, but the role that it's meant to play in the context of business was never the lead. Social is not the lead star in building a local business because there's digital, and digital many times, like Google business pages, drive way more traffic. Real human beings into a local business versus social. That doesn't mean social doesn't. But when we're talking about local businesses, social is not the strategy, it's a part of a larger strategy. And that includes offline, right? So I'm so excited to share this 2026 trends and outlooks because every year it's been one of the favorite sessions I've done for our A school members because I spend my whole year watching behavior and paying attention to what's going on. And so I'm pretty confident when I do kind of wrap it up to what's most relevant. I'm pretty confident I'm on track most of the time, and I have been because this is my expertise, not because I'm smarter than anyone else, because I'm not. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that because this has been a very overwhelming chapter for local businesses, including salons and also pro beauty brands. I know that there are some pro beauty brands still struggling with how to navigate social on the pro side, social to more deeply engage with the people they wish to serve. Some pro brands, they've got it on lock. Some are still kind of like set it and forget it, and it's just not working. So I'm really excited about kind of our reassessment of our relationship with the internet. Of course, I'm disappointed in how the internet has broken our trust. And as someone who is a very trusting person that needs to build my discernment muscle, which is one of my focuses for 2026, I really need to build my own personal discernment muscle. I'm really stoked. I'm really stoked. I think it's time. I think it's time to get back to what matters and see the internet for what it is, right? It's a tool that we use, not a tool that's using us. It's a tool that we use, not a tool that's using us. And it's been using us in not good ways. So I'm really, really, really excited. This year's been a lot. It's been a lot for people in their lives. It's been a lot for business. It's been some people have had record-breaking years. Some people have really been struggling. Some people are just kind of like whatever. But there's no question that the time and attention we are spending on the internet with the internet needs to change. It absolutely needs to change. And the internet has been very clear as a brand. They showed us who they are. They have shown us that we cannot trust them fully, right? They have shown us that our best interest is not at the top. It's not at the top of the pyramid, right? But we can rebuild, right? We can always rebuild. That trust can be rebuilt. I just don't have a lot. I'm not, I'm generally an optimist. You all know that. I'm not too optimistic that the internet's ever gonna like show up as a trustworthy partner. I think again, we just have to reassess our relationship with it and use it for the tool that it is and stop allowing it to control us through algorithms, through rage, through misinformation, through disinformation, through hot takes, through unpopular opinions. That shit has got to go. It's just got to go. And we need to get back to what matters. And that is the relationships, the connections, the conversations, the promises that we make as brands and as human beings. So, thank you again for an incredible year. I've shared a few times on the podcast. I don't listen to podcasts. It's not my preferred form of media. I like to read. I'm a reader. I'm a reader, but I do so love making this for you. I love making this piece of this content for you. And when you share with me how it impacts you, you have no idea what that means to me. I know there were a couple of you tagged me in your Spotify Wrapped. And as I didn't know podcasts were part of Spotify Wrapped because I don't have Spotify. I'm an Apple person through and through. I'm a loyal bitch, I'll tell you that. But a couple of people, the building and breaking came up in your Spotify rap top five listen podcast. I mean, I did cry. You know, I cried. Of course, I cried. I'm so grateful, and that means the world to me. And it gives me the energy to keep making these episodes for you. Some of these episodes, and I've shared this, take a lot of time, a lot of research. Um, but I love this shit. This is what I do. So thank you so much. I hope you have a peaceful holiday season and a really, really, really cool new year. Happy, cool, joy filled. I'm excited about 2026. I just feel like I feel like we're gonna get back to what matters. I really do. And I hope I see you January 12th for the 2026 Trends and Outlooks conversation. It's not a class or a workshop, it's really a conversation. And I'm sharing the registration link everywhere. I'll share it here in the show notes. But I do hope you join me. And again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here this year. Thank you for your trust, for your support, for your love. I'm so grateful. And thank you for listening. Bye.